Breaking news! Web stories have a new home on Discover with a rich immersive carousel. Storytime isn't usually a news show, but this new Google integration has major implications if you're building web stories. So here's a special episode about the Discover Web Stories integration and why it matters. The new Stories carousel is now available in the United States, India and Brazil at the top of Discover and helps users find the best visual content in the form of web stories from around the world. We've also announced that we continue to surface more web stories across Google search results globally on mobile, and that we intend to expand web stories to more countries in Google surfaces. And to give you more insights into this new promising traffic source for web story creators, I'm excited to be joined by Vamsee Jasti today, the product manager of web stories on Discover. Vamsee, amazing you could join us. Everyone watching this might think that we recorded this weeks ago, but actually it's just 2 days away from the big launch. So how are you feeling about everything?
Hi Paul, thanks for having me. I'm really excited for the launch. Can't wait to share more.
So what's the big deal here for a web creator? For those tuning in for the first time and haven't seen the other Storytime episodes, what's the deal with web stories?
Well, the big deal is that the stories format itself seems to be working really well, as you can see across other platforms. But one of the biggest challenges is the creator of these stories doesn't own them. And that's why we set out to build web stories where the creator ends up owning and doing whatever they want with them, including hosting or taking them down or monetizing them, and having full control over the stories they create. But in reality, it's just a web page. So all of the amazing properties of the web just carry over to web stories.
But as you know, as I know, you could have created web stories even before that, since they're really just web pages. And what makes it different this time with this launch? What is different now that you're bringing the Discover experience to web stories?
The web has always been amazing in terms of giving ownership of your content, which is awesome. What we're trying to do with Discover here is essentially build a marketplace of web story creators and users who are interested in your web stories. So the idea is, you as a creator, if you're, say, interested in hockey and you create a web story about hockey, we're able to match that particular web story to a user that's also interested in hockey. So the idea is creating a marketplace that has a really big audience. And if you didn't know already, Discover has close to 800 million monthly active users. And that's kind of the reach that we're able to provide with this particular experience.
You can run web stories on your own website, on your own homepage, but what is different on Discover? What is the experience like for a user?
Yeah, one of the interesting things from a user standpoint is the ability to kind of consume your web story. It'll be right there inside of the Discover feed. And once you tap in and enter the web story experience, have the ability to kind of consume that web story, but also you can swipe away if you choose to land in the next web story. So it's an experience, it's a very tightly knit experience of being able to consume multiple web stories and finding the one you're actually interested in and enjoy.
Now imagine when you set out to create this carousel, there wasn't a lot of high quality content out there. So how did you jumpstart publishers and creators to really make sure that there's compelling content on Discover when you're launching this feature?
You're absolutely right. It was pretty interesting the way we bootstrapped this, and we work with a number of different publishers and creators and tooling companies to be able to bootstrap this ecosystem. So it's been close to 8 months now since we first started this initiative. And if you see the carousel now, there's just some amazing content from a diverse group of publishers and creators, and we can't wait to see what the users think about that.
Okay, now that the cat's out of the bag, what are you really hoping for the future? What are you working on next? And what do you think is still out there for publishers, for creators, for users?
So big picture, 2 things. The first thing is on the creator side or the ecosystem side. And the few things that we're working on with high priority are, first, just improving the tooling capabilities in the situation there. There's a diverse set of tools, but I think we can do better there. The second was around monetization, giving users, creators, more abilities to monetize the web stories that they create. And finally, analytics. Of course, you can integrate GA today, but we want to be able to make that experience better and also by default deliver insights to you using tools like Search Console. On the user side, we're really excited and we're barely scratched the surface with this initial launch. We're going to add exciting new features like the ability for users to react to your web stories, but also improve the recommendation algorithms of what story they see next after they've finished consuming the current story. So, and tons more, and I can't wait to share more once we're there.
I'm so excited to talk about all of these in the future. So thank you so much for giving us these insights, Vamsee. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul. It was great to be here.
And there you have it. The new Discover carousel is one more reason to get started building web stories. And if this is the first episode of Storytime you're watching, dive into the Google Web Creators YouTube channel and subscribe to learn the ins and outs about web stories in this weekly educational series. Onwards!